Welcome to 24/7 English. I'm Connor. This is your new English podcast. Today we start a story. The story is called The Boy Who Never Gives Up. This story will help you learn English. I will use easy words. I will speak in short sentences. Listen carefully. Try to understand. Repeat the words after me. Let's begin. There was a boy. His name was Leo. He lived in a small town. His house was small. His family was poor. But Leo was happy. He liked to play. He liked to run. He liked to dream. His dream was big. He wanted to be a pilot. He wanted to fly in the sky. But people laughed. They said, "You are too poor." They said, "You will never fly." Leo did not cry. He did not stop. He smiled. He said, "I will try." Leo went to school. The school was far. He walked every day. It took him 1 hour. He had no shoes. His clothes were old. But he went. He listened. He read books. He asked questions. He worked hard. The teacher liked him. She said, "You are smart." Leo said, "I want to fly." The teacher said, "Then study more." Leo came home. He helped his mother. He washed dishes. He cleaned the floor. He did his homework. He read books. He did not play much. He wanted to learn. He wanted to grow. His friends laughed. They said, "Let's play." Leo said, "I need to study." They said, "You are boring." Leo said, "I have a dream." One day, Leo saw a plane. It flew over his house. He looked up. His eyes were big. His smile was wide. He ran outside. He waved at the plane. The plane flew away, but Leo stood there. He felt strong. He felt ready. He said, "One day, that will be me." His mother heard him. She smiled. She said, "Yes, you can." The next day, Leo went to the library. He read about planes. He read about flying. He read about pilots. He learned many new words. He learned about wings. He learned about engines. He learned about airports. He loved it. He read every day. He asked for help. The librarian helped him. She said, "You are special." Leo smiled. At school, he spoke about planes. He made a small plane with paper. He showed his teacher. He said, "This is my dream." The teacher said, "Never stop." Leo said, "I won't." He felt proud. He felt strong. He felt like a pilot already. But he knew. He still had a long way. He still had to work. Some days were hard. It rained. He got wet. He had no umbrella. He got cold. But he walked to school. Some days he was hungry. He had no lunch. But he still went. He still listened. He still smiled. He still dreamed. He said, "I will not give up." Leo saw other kids. They had bikes. They had phones. He had nothing. But he had hope. He had fire in his heart. He had light in his eyes. He had a dream. He said, "I can make it." He looked at the sky. He said, "Wait for me." Years passed. Leo got older. He read more. He worked more. He helped others. He stayed kind. He stayed strong. People saw him. They said, "That boy is different." They said, "He works hard." Leo did not listen. He just smiled. He just studied. He just dreamed. The journey had begun. The dream was alive. The boy was ready. The boy was not afraid. This was just the start. The sky was calling, and Leo was walking forward, one small step at a time. Leo's dream was big, but he was still small. He needed help. He needed support. One day he saw a poster. It was on the school wall. It said, "Science contest. Make a plane." Leo was happy. He thought, "This is my chance." He ran home. He told his mom. She smiled and said, "Do your best." Leo found old things. He found paper. He found sticks. He found glue. He started building. He worked day and night. He tried once. It broke. He tried again. It did not fly. He tried again. It flew a little. He said, "I can do it." He kept trying. He made a plane. It was small, but it flew. The contest day came. Many kids came. They had big planes. Some had help. Some had tools. Leo had none, but he had hope. He showed his plane. The teacher said, "Is this yours?" Leo said, "Yes, I made it." She smiled. She said, "Let's see." Leo threw the plane. It flew high. It flew far. The kids clapped. The teacher clapped. Leo smiled. He felt proud. He did not win, but he felt like a winner. The teacher said, "Good work, Leo." He said, "Thank you." He went home happy. That night, Leo looked at the stars. He said, "I want to go there." He closed his eyes. He dreamed of flying. He dreamed of clouds. He dreamed of freedom. His dream got bigger. His heart got stronger. He whispered, "I will never stop." At school, Leo started helping others. He helped them read. He helped them write. He told them, "You can do it." Some listened. Some laughed. Leo kept helping. He said, "We can dream together." He wanted all kids to dream. He wanted no one to give up. One day, a man came to the school. He was a real pilot. He wore a uniform. He had glasses. He spoke to the class. He said, "Work hard. Be brave. Never give up." Leo listened. He raised his hand. He asked, "Can I be a pilot?" The man said, "Yes, you can." After class, Leo talked to the man. He asked many questions. The man smiled. He said, "You are curious. That's good." Leo said, "I want to fly." The man said, "Then study science, study math, be strong, and never stop." Leo nodded. He felt ready. He felt sure. From that day, Leo worked harder. He studied math. He learned fast. He solved problems. He read science books. He watched videos. He asked teachers. He stayed late. He did not waste time. He said, "This is my path." Many kids played games. Leo studied. Many kids slept early. Leo read. Many kids gave up. Leo moved on. He was slow, but he kept going. He knew the road was long. He knew the sky was far, but he was ready. His mother watched him. She was proud. She worked hard, too. She cleaned houses. She made food. She saved money. She told Leo, "I believe in you." Leo said, "I believe too." They hugged. They smiled. They dreamed together. Years passed. Leo finished school. He wanted to go to college, but it cost money. He had no money. He felt sad, but he did not stop. He looked for help. He asked for scholarships. He wrote letters. He said, "I want to fly." One day a letter came. It said, "You got a scholarship." Leo jumped. He shouted. He ran to his mom. He said, "We did it." She cried. She said, "You did it." He said, "No, we did it together." They hugged again. Leo packed his bag. He said goodbye. He got on a bus. He looked out the window. He saw trees. He saw roads. He saw the sky. He said, "Wait for me, sky. I'm coming." The college was big. The buildings were tall. Leo felt small, but he was not afraid. He said, "I worked hard to be here." He met new teachers. He met new friends. He felt hope again. And so, the boy who never gave up kept going. One more step, one more dream. The sky was close now. College life was hard. Leo woke up early. He studied all day. He had many books. He had many classes. He felt tired, but he did not stop. He said, "This is part of the dream." He walked to class. He took notes. He asked questions. He stayed in the library. He wanted to learn everything. Some nights, Leo felt alone. He missed his mother. He missed his home. But he looked up. He saw the stars. He said, "I am still on my way." He talked to himself. He said, "Don't give up. Keep going." Those words helped him. They gave him power. They gave him peace. Leo studied science. He learned about engines. He learned about wings. He learned how planes fly. He loved it. It was hard, but it made him happy. He listened to his teachers. He asked for help. He did every homework. He took every test. He never skipped a class. One day his teacher said, "You are doing great." Leo smiled. He said, "Thank you, sir." The teacher said, "Keep going. You can be a pilot." Leo nodded. He felt proud. His eyes were bright. He felt strong again. Leo made new friends. They were smart. They helped each other. They studied together. They shared books. They shared notes. Leo liked that. He said, "We grow better together." His friends said, "You are always working." Leo said, "I have a dream." They smiled. They said, "Let's help each other." The college had a lab. It had flight tools. Leo loved that room. He went there every day. He touched the machines. He asked about controls. He learned how to use them. He stayed for hours. He asked the staff, "Can I help here?" They said yes. He cleaned. He worked. He learned more. One day Leo saw a notice. It said, "Flight Training Program. Apply now." Leo took a deep breath. He said, "This is it." He filled the form. He waited. He prayed. He hoped. Days passed. Then one day he got the letter. It said, "You are selected." He jumped. He ran. He cried. He laughed. He called his mom. He said, "I'm going to learn how to fly." Training began. It was hard. Leo wore a uniform. He sat in a small plane. He listened to the trainer. He held the controls. His heart was fast. His hands shook, but he smiled. He was ready. He said, "Let's fly." The plane moved. It went up. Leo saw the world below. He saw the trees. He saw the buildings. He saw the sky close. He said, "This is real. This is me." He trained every week. He practiced turns. He learned how to land. He learned how to talk on the radio. He learned safety rules. He made mistakes, but he learned. He listened. He grew. He said, "Every flight is a lesson." Sometimes he was scared. The wind was strong. The sky was dark. But he stayed calm. He said, "I can do this." The trainer said, "Good job, Leo." He smiled. He felt proud. He was not just dreaming. He was living his dream. He passed his tests. He got a certificate. It said, "Pilot in Training." He took a photo. He held it tight. He sent it to his mom. She called. She said, "I knew you could do it." Leo said, "Because you believed in me." Leo kept training. He flew more hours. He learned to fly higher. He flew over rivers. He flew over towns. He saw the world from above. It looked so peaceful. He said, "The sky is home now." Every time he flew, he remembered his past. The small house, the long walks, the rain, the hunger, the pain. But he smiled. He said, "I did not stop. I came this far." His teachers respected him. His friends cheered for him. His mom prayed for him. Leo stood tall. He looked at the sky. He said, "I'm almost there." The boy who never gave up was now a young man. He had wings. He had purpose. He had hope. And still, he was humble, still kind, still strong. He knew there was more to come, but he was ready because he had something special. He had the power to keep going, no matter how hard, no matter how far. Leo's final flight test was near. This was the big one. If he passed, he would become a real pilot. He was nervous. He was excited. He said, "I worked for this. I can do it." He read all his notes. He checked all the steps. He practiced in his mind. He said, "I will fly with care." The day came. The sky was clear. The wind was calm. Leo wore his uniform. He looked sharp. He looked proud. He met the examiner. The man said, "Are you ready?" Leo said, "Yes, sir." They walked to the plane. They checked everything. Then they got in. Leo held the controls. His hands were steady. His heart beat fast. But he was calm. He started the plane. It moved. It rolled. It took off. The wings rose. The land fell away. Leo flew. He followed the plan. He made every turn. He watched every signal. The examiner watched too. He said nothing. Leo stayed focused. He kept his eyes on the sky. He remembered his training. He flew smooth. He flew safe. He felt like a bird. He said to himself, "This is my dream. I am here now." The flight went on. Then came the landing, the most important part. Leo stayed cool. He brought the plane down slowly. He looked at the runway. He made a clean landing. The wheels touched. The plane stopped. He breathed out. The examiner looked at him. He smiled. He said, "Well done, Leo. You passed." Leo smiled wide. He wanted to shout. He wanted to cry. But he stayed calm. He said, "Thank you, sir." They got out of the plane. Leo looked up. He said, "Thank you, Sky." He ran to his phone. He called his mom. He said, "I passed." She cried. She said, "You made it." Leo got his pilot license. It was in his hand. It had his name. It had his photo. It said, "Certified Pilot." He looked at it. He held it close. He said, "I did it. I really did it." His dream was now real. He got his first job. It was a small airline, but he was happy. He wore his new uniform. He walked with pride. People looked at him. They said, "Look, a pilot." He smiled. He said, "Yes, I'm a pilot now." His first flight as a real pilot was special. He flew over his hometown. He looked down. He saw the school. He saw the library. He saw his small house. He saw his mom. She was waving. He waved back from the sky. He said, "I'm here, Mom. I made it." The passengers clapped. The crew smiled. The captain said, "You did well, Leo." He said, "Thank you, sir." He walked out of the plane. The sun was setting. The sky was gold. Leo looked at it. He said, "This is only the beginning." He still remembered the hard days, the long walks, the hunger, the rain, the tears, but he also remembered the smiles, the books, the plane he made, the flight lessons, the help from others, the love from his mother. It all stayed in his heart. Now he wanted to help others. He visited schools. He talked to kids. He told them his story. He said, "Never stop dreaming." He said, "Work hard. Believe. You can do it too." Some kids listened. Some laughed. But Leo smiled. He remembered those days. He said, "One day they will understand." Leo gave free lessons. He helped poor kids. He bought books for them. He took them to the airport. He let them sit in the plane. He said, "You can fly too." Their eyes were wide. Their hearts were full. They saw the dream. They felt the hope. Leo became more than a pilot. He became a guide, a light for others, a voice that said, "Don't give up." He gave speeches. He met leaders. He met pilots. He said, "Let's help every child dream." People clapped. They said, "Leo is a hero." But Leo stayed simple. He still called his mom every day. He still read books. He still walked with kindness. He still said, "I was just a boy with no shoes, a boy who never gave up." And so, the sky was no longer a dream. It was home. Leo flew through clouds. He flew through storms. He flew with peace. He flew with purpose. The world watched him. Leo's story spread fast. People talked about him. News channels showed his pictures. Magazines told his story. They called him the Sky Boy. They said he had nothing, but he became something. Leo read the stories. He smiled. He said, "It was not easy, but it was worth it." One day, a school invited him. They said, "Come talk to our students." Leo went. The hall was full. Kids waited to hear him. Some teachers were there too. Leo stood on stage. He looked at the young faces. He said, "I was just like you." The kids listened. He told them everything. About the long walks, about the small paper plane, about his dream, about not giving up. One boy asked, "Were you scared?" Leo said, "Yes, many times, but I kept going." A girl asked, "What if I'm too poor?" Leo said, "Dreams don't cost money." They all clapped. A teacher cried. She said, "Thank you for your words." Leo said, "I speak from my heart." After that, Leo spoke at more schools. He visited villages. He helped kids who had nothing. He gave them hope. He gave them books. He gave them reasons to believe. The kids loved him. They said, "One day we will fly too." Leo also worked hard at his job. He flew every week. He flew in sun. He flew in rain. He was careful. He was calm. He loved his work. He said, "Every flight is a gift." The crew liked him. They said, "You always smile." Leo said, "Because I am living my dream." One day, he got a call. It was from a big airline. They said, "We want you." Leo was shocked. He said, "Me?" They said, "Yes. We know your story. We want you to fly for us." Leo said yes. It was a big step, a big plane, a big job. He started training again. New rules, new skills, bigger planes, more people. But Leo was ready. He learned fast. He flew well. He passed every test. The airline said, "Welcome, Captain Leo." He smiled. He said, "Thank you." His first flight as a captain was perfect. The plane was big. The sky was blue. He looked out the window. He said, "Look how far I've come." The passengers clapped when they landed. The crew said, "Good job, Captain." Leo thanked them. He walked out of the plane. People wanted photos. Kids wanted to talk. Leo gave them time. He always smiled. That night he sat alone. He looked at the stars. He said, "I did it, Mom." She called him. She said, "I saw you on TV." He laughed. She said, "You make me proud." He said, "You made me strong." They talked for a long time. Then he said, "I still have more to do." Leo started a small school. It was for poor kids. It was called Sky School. He said, "Every child can dream." The kids came, they learned, they smiled. Leo taught them. He said, "Never give up." The school grew. More kids came. More dreams were born. He also trained young pilots. He said, "I will help the next generation." The new students loved him. They said, "You understand us." Leo said, "Because I was you." He taught with heart. He taught with care. He told them, "Fly safe, fly strong, fly kind." One day, a boy came to him. He said, "My name is Aman. I want to be like you." Leo looked at him. He saw himself. He said, "You can be more than me." He gave him books. He gave him time. Aman worked hard. He reminded Leo of his past. Leo helped many like Aman. He gave them wings. He gave them courage. He gave them light. He said, "I don't just fly. I lift others too." The world saw Leo. They gave him awards. They gave him medals. They gave him honor. But Leo stayed simple. He said, "I don't need gold. I just want to help." People loved him more. He was not just a pilot. He was a hero. The boy who never gave up was now a man who helped others rise. His story was not just a story. It was a message for every heart, a message that said, "Don't stop, don't fear, keep going, keep flying." And Leo kept flying, higher and higher. With every flight, with every word, with every act of kindness, he showed the world the power of never giving up. Leo kept flying around the world. He saw new cities. He met new people. He flew over oceans. He flew through snow. He flew under stars. But no matter where he went, he always remembered where he came from. He remembered his small town. He remembered the little house. He remembered the boy with no shoes and a big dream. One day he was flying to a new country. A little girl was on the plane. She was sitting near the window. She looked nervous. Leo walked by. She said, "Are you the pilot?" Leo smiled. He said, "Yes, I am." She said, "I'm scared." Leo sat beside her. He said, "I was scared too. The first time I flew, my hands were shaking." She asked, "What did you do?" Leo said, "I closed my eyes. I took a breath. I said, I can do it. She smiled. She said, "Then I will try that too." Leo said, "Good. You're already brave." After the flight, the girl's parents thanked him. They said, "You made her feel safe." Leo said, "That's my job." But deep down, he felt something more. He remembered how one kind word helped him once. Now, he gave that word to others. Leo started writing a book. He wrote about his life, about the pain, about the hope, about every step. He said, "This is not a story about flying. This is a story about trying." The book became popular. Many people read it. Teachers read it to students. Parents read it to kids. Everyone loved it. A young boy sent him a letter. It said, "I didn't believe in myself, but after reading your book, I think I can do anything." Leo read the letter. He smiled. He said, "That is why I wrote it." Leo's school grew bigger. He added computers. He added science kits. He hired good teachers. He made sure no child was left behind. He visited often. He sat with students. He asked them about their dreams. One said, "I want to be a doctor." One said, "I want to be a teacher." One said, "I want to be like you." Leo said, "Be better than me." He gave them time. He gave them love. He gave them belief. The school had a wall. It had big words painted on it. It said, "Never give up." Every child saw it. Every child believed it. One evening, Leo sat at the airport. He watched planes take off. He smiled. He thought of his first paper plane. How small it was. How simple it was. But it carried a big dream. He said, "That little paper plane was the start of everything." A journalist came to him. She asked, "What is your biggest success?" Leo thought for a moment. Then he said, "My biggest success is that I never gave up." She asked, "And your biggest lesson?" He said, "That pain can make you strong, and dreams can take you anywhere." People called Leo a hero, but he never called himself that. He said, "I am just someone who kept walking, even when the road was hard, even when the nights were cold, even when people said no." He remembered the words of his mother. "Keep going, my son. Don't stop." Those words were always in his heart. He lived by them. He flew by them. One day, he flew over a mountain. The sky was clear. The sunset was golden. He looked out and whispered, "Thank you. Thank you to every hard day. Thank you to every small help. Thank you to every tear, because all of that made him who he was." He knew many kids were still walking hard roads, still dreaming big dreams. He wanted to tell them, "I see you. I believe in you. Keep going. You will fly too." The boy who never gave up was now a man who lifted others. His story flew across borders. His name gave people hope. And every time he flew, he smiled and said, "This is not the end. The journey still goes on." Leo was now known in many places. People waited to hear him speak. Schools sent him letters. TV shows invited him. But Leo stayed humble. He said, "I am just a boy who worked hard." He never forgot his past. He never forgot the pain. That pain made him strong. That pain made him kind. One day, he visited a small village. It was far away. The road was rough. The houses were poor. But the people smiled. They welcomed him with open arms. The children ran to him. They said, "Are you the flying man?" Leo laughed. He said, "Yes, I am." They touched his uniform. They asked, "Can we fly too?" Leo said, "Yes, you can." He sat under a tree. The kids sat around him. He told them stories about his old house, about walking to school, about reading books. The kids listened. Their eyes were wide. Their hearts were open. One girl asked, "Did people say bad things to you?" Leo said, "Yes, they did." She asked, "What did you do?" Leo said, "I kept going." He gave each child a notebook. He said, "Write your dreams here." The children smiled. They wrote with joy. One boy wrote, "I want to be a teacher." One girl wrote, "I want to be a pilot like you." Leo read their dreams. He said, "These dreams are big. Keep them safe and never stop believing." The next day, Leo flew again. He looked out the window. He thought of the village. He thought of the tree. He thought of the dreams. He said, "I must keep flying. I must keep helping." His mission was clear, not just to fly, but to give hope. At the airport, a woman stopped him. She said, "My son reads your story every night. He wants to be like you." Leo smiled. He said, "Tell him he can be better than me." She nodded. She said, "You give us all hope." Leo said, "Hope is the strongest thing we have." That week, Leo spoke at a big event. Many people came. The hall was full. Leaders were there. Pilots were there. Students were there. Leo stood on the stage. He looked at them. He said, "I was just a boy, poor, tired, afraid. But I had a dream, and I never gave up." The crowd clapped. Some had tears. Leo said, "Each of you can fly. Maybe not in the sky, but in life, in dreams, in hope. Flying means rising above fear, rising above pain, rising above the words of doubt." After the event, many people came to him. They shook his hand. They said, "You changed my life." Leo said, "You can change your own life. I just showed you it's possible." Leo flew more flights, But he also spent time with children. He read to them. He played with them. He asked them questions. He made them smile. He said, "One day you will sit where I sit, and you will help the next one." He started a program for young dreamers. It was called Wings for All. It gave books. It gave classes. It gave hope. Many joined. Many grew. Some became pilots. Some became doctors. Some became writers. But all of them remembered his words: never give up. Leo saw these students grow. He saw their lives change, and that made him the happiest. More than flying, more than medals, more than money. He said, "This is what I wanted, a world where dreams can live." He visited his old school. It was still there, the same classroom, the same books. But now it had pictures of him. The teacher said, "Leo, you made us proud." The kids clapped. Leo said, "You can do more than me. Just don't stop trying." He walked to the library, the same one where he read about planes, the same desk, the same shelf. He sat down. He smiled. He said, "This place gave me wings." He gave the library new books. He wrote in each one, "For the next dreamer. Keep going." The boy who never gave up had now become the man who helped others rise. He was a pilot, a teacher, a light. His name was spoken in small homes and big halls, but he always said, "I am still that boy. I still dream, I still try, and I will never stop." Leo's story reached even more places. One day, he got a call from a big university. They said, "We want to give you an award." Leo said, "Me?" They said, "Yes, for inspiring the world." He flew there. He stood on the stage. He held the award. But he did not speak about himself. He spoke about kids. He said, "Every child has power. Every child can fly. If we believe in them, they will rise." The people clapped. They stood up. They gave him respect. But Leo stayed humble. He said, "This is not just for me. This is for every child who is still walking in the rain, who is still holding a dream." After the event, many students came to him. They asked, "How did you keep going?" Leo said, "One step at a time, one small win at a time." One girl said, "I want to be brave." Leo said, "You already are. Bravery is not loud. It is quiet. It is inside you." Later, Leo visited his old home. The small house was still there. He knocked on the door. His mother opened it. She smiled. She hugged him tight. She said, "You still look like my little boy." Leo laughed. He said, "And you still give me strength." They sat and talked. She made tea. He told her about the schools, the flights, the kids. She listened with love. Then Leo walked to the old road, the one he used to walk to school. It was still the same. He saw kids walking. He waved at them. One boy asked, Are you the flying man? Leo smiled. He said, Yes, but I started right here, just like you. The boy said, I want to be like you. Leo said, Then keep walking. Keep dreaming. That evening, Leo sat by the window. He watched the sky. The stars were bright. He thought about his journey, from paper planes to real ones, from no shoes to captain's boots, from silence to speeches, from one boy to thousands of dreamers. He picked up his notebook. He wrote a letter. It was to every child in the world. He wrote, Dear dreamer, I know the road is hard. I know you are tired. But don't stop. Every step you take is a win. Every time you try, you grow. Some will laugh. Some will say no. But keep going. You have light in you. Let it shine. You don't need much. Just hope. Just heart. Just the will to try. I was like you. I had nothing, but I dreamed. And now I fly, and you will too. With all my belief, Leo. He closed the book. He smiled. He felt peace. The next morning, he got ready for a new flight. It was a long one, a new place, new people. But Leo was excited. He said, Every flight is a new start. He walked into the airport. A little boy ran to him. He said, I saw your video. Leo knelt down. He said, Do you have a dream? The boy said, Yes. I want to be a pilot. Leo smiled. He said, Then never stop. You will fly. He walked to the plane. The sun was rising. The sky was orange. The clouds were soft. He looked up. He whispered, Thank you. Then he got in. The engine started. The plane moved. It rose into the sky. Leo looked out the window. He saw the land below. He saw rivers. He saw towns. He saw children playing. He said, There is so much to do, so many dreams to help. He was not just flying. He was leading. He was guiding. He was showing the way. The boy who never gave up was now flying for every child who was afraid to try. And his story was not finished, because hope has no end, and dreams have no limit. Leo's flight landed in a new city. It was his first time there. The airport was big. Many people walked around. Some looked tired. Some looked happy. Some looked lost. Leo walked through the crowd. A little girl saw him. She pulled her mother's hand and said, Mom, that's the flying man? Leo smiled and waved. The mother said, You gave her hope. Leo nodded and said, That's why I fly. He checked into a hotel. It was quiet. He sat near the window. He looked at the sky. He said, So many people, so many dreams. He thought about his next plan. He wanted to build more schools. He wanted to reach more children. He said, The dream must grow. The next day, Leo visited a local school. The principal welcomed him. The students cheered. They gave him flowers. One student held a small plane made of paper. Leo took it. He said, "This is how I started too." The kids laughed. They sat on the floor. Leo began to speak. He said, "When I was your age, I had no books. I had no shoes. But I had one thing, a dream. That dream gave me power. That dream gave me wings." The room was silent. All the kids listened. One boy asked, "Did you ever want to quit?" Leo said, "Yes. Many times. But I remembered my mother's words. Keep going. Just one more step." The teacher said, "These kids need someone like you." Leo said, "They need to believe in themselves." He promised to help the school. He said, "I will send books. I will send computers. And I will visit again." That night, Leo wrote in his journal. He wrote, "Today I saw many little me's. I saw their fire. I saw their fear. I must help them grow." He closed the book and said, "This is my new mission." Leo's program, Wings for All, now had 10 schools. More were coming. Volunteers joined. Teachers joined. Even pilots joined. They said, "We want to help too." Leo said, "One child at a time. That's how we change the world." He also started free online classes. Kids could watch his lessons. They could hear his voice. He told them stories. He taught them words. He showed them the stars. One video said, "Look at the sky. That's where you belong." Thousands watched. Thousands shared. One mother wrote him a letter. She said, "My son had no hope. Now he dreams every day." Leo smiled. He said, "That's why I tell my story, to light a fire." He was invited to a world event. Leaders came, pilots came, teachers came. Leo stood on stage. He said, "Education is the fuel. Dreams are the wings. If we give every child both, they will fly." People clapped. Some cried. One leader said, "You do more than fly planes. You lift hearts." Leo said, "That is my true flight." He met pilots from other countries. One said, "Your story changed my life." Another said, "I tell my daughter about you." Leo shook their hands. He said, "Let's build something big for all the dreamers." Later, Leo visited a hospital. He met children who were sick. One boy said, "I can't walk, but I want to fly." Leo held his hand. He said, "You are already flying. In your mind, in your heart." He gave the boy a pilot badge. The boy smiled. His eyes shined. Leo cried that night. He said, "Some dreams are harder, but all dreams matter." He wrote another letter. "Dear fighter, you are strong, even when you feel weak. You are flying, even if your feet can't move. Dreams don't need legs. They need heart. Keep dreaming. Keep shining. With love, Leo. Leo's heart grew bigger. He kept helping. He kept flying. His days were full. His nights were short. But he never stopped. He said, "As long as I have breath, I will give hope." He flew one more flight that week. It was long. The stars were bright. The sky was quiet. He looked out. He said, "The world is wide, but every child matters. Every dream is big." The boy who never gave up was now a man who never stopped giving. His journey was far from over, because the sky has no end, and neither does love. Leo woke up early. The sky was still dark. The world was quiet. He sat by the window and drank tea. He thought about his next steps. He said, "I have flown many miles, but my work is not done." He opened his notebook. He wrote new plans, more schools, more books, more visits. He said, "Dreams need places to grow." Later that day, he got a call. A group in another country wanted him to speak. They said, "Our kids need your voice." Leo said yes. He packed his bag. He flew again. Another new place. Another new chance to inspire. When he landed, a girl gave him flowers. She said, "Thank you for helping us dream." Leo touched her head and said, "You are the dream." He walked into the school. The walls were simple. The rooms were small. But the children smiled. They waited for him. Leo sat on the floor with them. He said, "Let me tell you a story." And he told them about the boy who had no shoes, the boy who walked in the rain, the boy who made paper planes, the boy who dreamed of flying. The children listened. One girl said, "That boy is like me." Leo said, "Yes, that boy is inside you." Another boy said, "I want to be brave too." Leo said, "Then take the first step. That's how it starts." He gave them books. He gave them pencils. He gave them hope. He said, "Use these tools. Build your dream." One teacher said, "They will never forget this day." Leo smiled and said, "Neither will I." That night, Leo walked outside. The stars were above him. The air was cool. He looked up. He whispered, "Thank you for guiding me." He felt peace. He felt strength. He knew his mission was right. He went back to his room. He answered messages. One boy wrote, "Leo, I got a job." One girl wrote, "I passed my test." A teacher wrote, "Our school is better now." Leo read each word. He smiled. He said, "The dream is growing." In the morning, he visited another place. This one was different. It was a refugee camp. The children had lost homes. They had lost peace, but they had not lost hope. One boy ran to him. He said, "Are you the flying man?" Leo said, "Yes, and you are the strong one." He sat with them. He shared food. He listened to their stories. One girl said, "I want to be a doctor." Leo said, "You will. Just keep learning." Another boy said, Can you teach me English? Leo said, Yes. Let's start now. He stayed there all day. He played games. He sang songs. He taught words. He gave hugs. At the end, he said, You are all brave. You are all stars. He left with tears in his eyes. He said, They have so little, but they give so much. On the plane back, he thought deeply. He said, The world is full of pain, but also full of light. He landed at night. His phone rang. A reporter wanted to talk. They asked, Why do you keep flying? Leo said, Because there is always one more child, one more dream. The reporter said, You are a hero. Leo said, No. I'm just a boy who never gave up. The next day, Leo gave a big speech. Many people came, parents, students, teachers, and leaders. Leo stood tall. He looked at them. He said, The sky is not the limit. Your heart is the limit. If you believe, you can fly higher than clouds. People clapped. Some cried. Some stood and cheered. A young boy in the crowd shouted, Leo, I want to fly too. Leo pointed to him and said, Then get ready. Your journey starts today. He finished with one line. Dreams don't sleep, so I won't stop. He walked off the stage, but he knew the stage was not the end. The world was his stage. Every child was his audience. Every heart was his reason. The boy who never gave up was still flying, not just in the sky, but in every story, in every dream, in every small step someone dared to take. Leo flew again, this time to a mountain village. The road was rough, the wind was strong, but he kept going. He said, Hard paths lead to beautiful places. When he arrived, the village was quiet. The children came running. They knew who he was. They had watched his videos. One boy said, Leo, I wrote a story. Can I show you? Leo said, Of course. The boy read his story. It was about a tree that wanted to touch the sky. The tree grew slowly, but it never stopped. In the end, it reached the clouds. Leo clapped. He said, That tree is you. The boy smiled wide. He had never felt so proud. Leo stayed in the village for 2 days. He helped fix the school roof. He taught new English words. He played football with the kids. At night, he told stories by the fire. One girl said, You make us believe. Leo said, That's what I came for. Before he left, the children gave him a gift. It was a drawing. It showed Leo with wings flying over the mountains. He held the sun in one hand and books in the other. Leo looked at the picture. He said, This means everything to me. He folded it carefully and placed it in his bag. On the plane home, he read a message from his old teacher. It said, You did what we always hoped. You turned pain into power. Leo wrote back, Your words were my first wings. Soon, Leo was invited to a big school in the city. Thousands of students waited. They had signs. They wore T-shirts with his name. They chanted, Never give up. Leo stepped on stage. He raised his hand. The crowd went silent. He said, I was just like you, small, poor, afraid, but I had a dream, and I didn't let go. He told them how he failed many times, how people laughed, how doors were shut. But he kept walking. One small step each day, one small dream each night. He said, Success is not magic. It's choice. It's work. After his speech, a girl came to him. She whispered, I was going to quit school, but now I won't. Leo hugged her and said, Promise me that. She nodded. Her eyes were full of tears. Leo's message spread fast. More schools invited him. More kids wrote to him. Some called him Captain Hope. Others called him Teacher of Dreams. Leo said, Call me anything. Just don't stop dreaming. He made a short film. It showed his journey. From poor boy to flying hero. It had real photos, real tears, real wins. He posted it online. It went viral. People around the world watched it. One comment said, My son watches this every night before bed. One day he visited his old village, the same muddy road, the same broken fence. But now the school had paint. It had lights. The library had books. The children wore shoes. One teacher said, This happened because of you. Leo shook his head. He said, No. This happened because someone believed. He walked to his old house. It was empty, but the tree in the yard still stood. He sat under it. He closed his eyes. He remembered everything, the pain, the hunger, the rain, but also the hope, the dreams, the fire in his heart. He said, I'm still that boy, just with bigger wings. Before he left, he placed a note on the school wall. It said, Dear dreamer, your story is waiting. Pick up your pen. Take one step, then another. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Love, the boy who never gave up. That night, as he flew again, he looked out the window. The stars were everywhere. He whispered, There are still many hearts to reach. His wings were tired, but his soul was strong. Because dreams don't sleep. And neither does love. Leo landed in a new country. It was cold. Snow covered the streets, but children were waiting. They held signs that said, Welcome, Leo. He smiled. His hands were cold, but his heart was warm. He waved and said, Let's build dreams today. At the school, students wore thick coats, but their eyes were bright. One girl stood up. She said, "Leo, how do I stay strong when life is hard?" He walked to her. He looked into her eyes and said, "By remembering your dream. Hold it tight. Never let it go." He gave his last speech there. His voice was calm, but every word had power. He said, "When I was a boy, I had nothing, no shoes, no books, but I had hope. Hope was my light. It showed me the way." He paused and looked around. "You have that light too. Don't forget it." After the speech, people hugged him. They said thank you. A mother cried. She said, "My son wanted to drop out. Now he wants to be a teacher." Leo touched her hand and said, "That is the power of one story." He stayed one more night in that snowy city. Alone in his room, he looked at the picture the mountain kids gave him with wings, books in hand. He smiled. He whispered, "I hope they fly even higher than me." The next morning, he flew home. This time, he was tired. His body ached, but his spirit was strong. At the airport, a young boy ran up to him. "Leo, I saw you online. I started reading because of you." Leo knelt down. "That makes me happy," he said. "Never stop learning." Back in his town, people gathered. They had candles. They sang songs. They made a wall of dreams. Every child wrote one dream and pinned it there. Doctor, pilot, writer, teacher, president. Leo read each one. He said, "This wall is stronger than any building because it's made of hope." An old man walked up to him. "I knew your father," he said. "He would be proud." Leo nodded. "I hope so," he said. "I do this for him, and for every child who thinks they can't." Leo went home. His house was simple, but full of books, full of letters, full of love. He sat in his chair. He closed his eyes. He thought about the boy he once was, hungry, cold, lost, but with fire inside. He opened his notebook. He started a new letter. "Dear dreamer," it said, "I was like you. I fell, I cried, I broke. But I rose again and again. You can too. You must. Because someone is waiting for your light." He stopped writing. He looked out the window. The sky was full of stars. He whispered, "Thank you. Thank you for the pain. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the wings." In the morning, he got a message. A girl in another country had started a school. She named it Never Give Up Academy. Leo cried. He had never met her, but she heard his story. She took action. He said, "That's what it's all about. Pass it on." He picked up his bag. He opened a map. He pointed to a new place. "Let's go," he said. "There's another story waiting." And so he flew again. The boy who never gave up. never stopped, never slowed down. Because someone, somewhere, still needed hope, still needed a story, still needed a light, still needed a reason to dream, and that boy, now a man, still believed, still flew, still smiled, because dreams don't end, and hope never dies.